here we are. We're back. I found the scripture I was looking for. This is the book of Samuel 13, talking about Tamar. Now remember, Tamar is David's daughter. Adnan is David's son. So she should feel safe with this guy, right? Because it's her brother. I mean, it's your brother. You ain't thinking nothing about this dude. But catch how this plays out. Now, Absalom, David's son, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. After a time, Adnan, David's son, loved her, and Amnon was so tormented that he made himself ill because of his sister Tamar. Remember how I said this guy from the Buffy episode, he had been having dreams of her. This is how the enemy works. I'm going to bring back a recollection of a video. Deani Neves did a video called An Open Rebuke. Men had been getting in her DMs over and over and over and over and over and over and over, trying to say that she was his. She was their wife. The enemy will send thoughts, visions, all this type of stuff to get these men ill in their head over you. You need to pray and rebuke these types of things. When you get in your marriage, don't get slack. Still pray, because these are types of things that the enemy will send as soon as you're not paying attention. Remember, I just told you in the dream about the windows. Every couple of days, something will try to come through the windows and hit the alarm system, and we have to make sure that the locks and then call the police and repetitively every couple of days, 2 days, 3 days, every couple of days. It was happening in the spirit. So the enemy ain't gonna stop playing this trick, okay? It's not going to stop. It may come through a different person. It may come through a different situation. But the enemy not going to stop. Now, this man done made himself sick. This guy that just assaulted the character in the Buffy episode, he done made himself sick because she don't want him. He has become obsessed with hitting her. He's going to have her. In Deani Neves, these messages that were coming across her emails were highly inappropriate. And she was warning them, I am not your wife. She went into the Bible and started to speak from the Bible about the type of persecution will come to them in judgment if they do not stop coming at her like this. There are men. This is why the Lord has probably got me saying this. This could be something that could happen to you. This could be something that could happen to me. This could be something that could happen to anybody. You need to pay attention. Adnan was tormented by this, meaning the enemy was sending these thoughts. These witches out here ain't playing. Let me tell you something that I suspect is the issue. Listen carefully, because this may be a piece of information that you may not have thought of. Okay? These witches out here are sending love spells and splitting spells. So what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to split you from your God-ordained spouse. Put a love spell on your God-ordained spouse to try to get them to come to them. Meanwhile, sending thoughts, visions, dreams to anybody that they can send that has a close enough proximity to you. Okay? So that this person can become sick with love for you, in order to bring about interference, a blockade. Because this woman don't want that man away from her, and then they want to send somebody to become a level of interference for you. So this person or these people that are going to be sent to you as a counterfeit is actually a demonic guard in order to prevent your husband from gaining access to you. Listen to me carefully. You better call for the bloodthirstiest angel out there to go forth and destroy that assignment. Go into the spirit realm and destroy. Scripture I use all the time is The weapons may form, but they shall not prosper. The enemy got caught stealing and has to pay back sevenfold everything he stole, even from his own house. I also declare and decree, ever since I learned this word, epitome, strip it of its power. Histemi, immediately stop. I don't know whether it's First Chronicles 2:14 or Colossians 2:14 that states, I send a supernatural arrest warrant into the spirit to cause a cease and desist order to be presented and the assignment be rendered null and void. We can't be out here playing with these assignments, okay? Because the devil ain't playing with us. They trying to get back in the doors and the windows that were already closed. They trying to gain re-access to you from places that you already done closed the door on. How do you do that? How you stop them from gaining access? Listen carefully. Isaiah 22:22. God closes doors man cannot open. Access denied. I close the door before they even gain access to me, boo. And I'm going to reference this because I've been trying to avoid referencing it. But remember the other day when I was doing the previous word talking about, and I stopped at it was either the first or the second part. And I stopped for a whole minute and a half. And then I said, the devil is a liar. Then I said in the secondary part that I saw somebody that looked like my old counterfeit. Let me explain something to you. The enemy will even bring these people to you because of the fact that he knows that it's going to startle you. The enemy is lurking. Remember, I said lurking. Stephanie P released a word. The enemy is lurking. Your God-ordained spouse is near, and he's a little bit tepid on trying to approach you. And because he's tepid on trying to approach you, she had a dream that the guy was standing next to her, that was the kingdom spouse, and the wife is over there, and there's this other guy that's been watching her too. And when he does not move, meaning when the kingdom spouse does not move, this dude swoops in because he ain't got no problem approaching and starts to become a little bit too aggressive toward the woman. And the woman's like, who are you and where did you come from? Get away from me. Your God-ordained spouse needs to say something, because if he does not say anything, that opens the door or leaves a space for a counterfeit to just move right on in. Because they're leaving space in a place that should not have been empty. When the time comes for certain things to happen, certain doors and certain things shift, which means if there's an opening, the enemy is looking for that opening. Your God-ordained spouse is supposed to slip in that opening right there. But what the enemy does is, if your God-ordained spouse is being slow, overthinking, being tepid, so on and so forth, the enemy gonna slip in that slot right there. And the longer it takes your spouse to say something, the enemy gonna keep sending counterfeits. This is what happened to Deani Nev. She got 15,000 emails from different people talking about that was her husband, that they were her husband. And she's sitting up there like, you are not my husband. You ain't my husband. And we are over here getting frustrated because we like, why is everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry but my husband showing up? Because the enemy knows, praise Jesus that you're seeing it, because when you praise Jesus, you're seeing it. It just means, oh, look, your husband must be getting ready to make a move. Because if he wasn't getting ready to make a move, the enemy wouldn't start trying to block. I could use a worldly word for that, but I'm Christian. I can't say that. So this person is trying to block. But coming back to this marriage element, these people going to try to block and your spouse going to be sitting right there. what ends up happening? Same love spell, same witchcraft, same monitoring spirit, same. All of them still the same, operating in a new season. All it is going to be the same stuff you was dealing with in this season. They going to try to come at you at a later point in time, 5 years, 7 years, whenever you get relaxed and stop worrying about anybody coming to attack. Remember, the windows were being attacked and it was a burglar alarm. Burglar alarm kept going off every couple of days. Why? Because the enemy kept trying to come back to open that door. Kept trying to come back to open that window. Kept trying. You on your post, the alarm gonna go off. You not on your post, they're gonna be able to slip in. You hear me? I hope you're hearing me. Getting back to what happened here with Tamar. So, this guy was sick about it. For she was a virgin, and it seemed impossible for Adnan to do anything to her. That's his sister. You want me to add this now? I heard a story from somebody. And can't remember who they are. But they were talking about they were in a relationship with somebody. And the person they were in relationship had a best friend. They knew this best friend, and they also knew that this friend had a attention for them. They didn't realize how much the person had attention for them until one day the friend came past while the guy wasn't there. And I believe she was living with the guy or something like that. So, what ended up happening is the guy came in, and he came in at first like everything was cool. But just like in this scenario I gave you from the Buffy episode, he comes upstairs, or in this scenario, it wasn't that he came upstairs, but he was around her. And she's telling him, when she starts to notice the conversation, just like this one, notices the conversation's going in the wrong direction, and she's telling him no. But in the differentiation of the two scenarios, for the television show, the woman was very strong. So she had the ability, but still that guy was a guy, and he was operating in a level of aggression. Same thing in this scenario. The guy was operating in a level of aggression. She could not push him off of her. This guy was the best friend to her partner. You gotta be careful when you get into these relationships. I already done told you, Trust and Obey Imagine Ministries done did a word talking about you gotta be careful of your spouse's siblings. Because somebody might be looking at you sideways. It could be a sibling, or it could be a best friend. Some of your spouses got friends that are like family to them. Okay? You got to be aware. Remember, even Haman, Xerxes thought that Haman was trying to do something to Esther. But Haman was only begging for his life. But let's get back to this part. So she is a virgin, and it seems impossible for Adnan to do anything to her. But Adnan, the son of Shema, David's brother, and Jobah, was very crafty man. So wait, is that her cousin then? I thought that was David's. Okay. It's a sister. Yeah, it's a sister. He's a crafty man. He comes in and he said, he gets questioned, or why are you so haggard? Will you not tell me? Amnon says to him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Jehonadab said to him, lie down in your bed and pretend. So somebody else gave him the idea what to do. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my goodness. The enemy busy. So you gotta be careful even when you get over there that somebody might give the very person that's trying to hurt you, harm you, or come after you the exact information of what they need to do to attempt to harm you. Meaning this person may have a monitoring spirit on them and you might not even see them as a threat. And they've been watching you enough to give the person that wants to harm you the information of exactly how to gain access to you. Be so careful. Oh my goodness. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, let my sister Tamar come and give me bread to eat and prepare food in my sight that I may see it and eat it from her hand. So Adnan said to the king, pray let my sister Tamar pray. Yeah, he praying all right. Prey. Make a couple of cakes in my sight that I may eat from her hand. Can we just discuss this for a second? How many sick people you know eat cake? If I'm sick, I don't want food. I don't want to eat nothing. Cakes? What? Red flag! Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go to your brother Adnan's house and prepare food for him. This person may have the ability to know how to twist the closest person to you. David sent his own daughter to him. If it's a friend, they may know how to get around your spouse to get access to you. And the way that they verbally word it to your spouse will let your spouse be like, all right, you can go see them, or they're going to be here, or what have you. Because let me tell you something. Any of y'all have seen them movies, you done seen What's Love Got to Do with It. Remember the famous scene in What's Love Got to Do with It, where the husband assaulted the wife in the music booth. It's not so much that they need a house or they need a specific quiet location. They just need to get you alone. They don't care where they get you. And they'll use somebody close to you, use the very person that they trying to double cross. See how this went down? He was the same person that he was trying to double cross. Her own father. That is demonic. You know that's so this hurts David because he didn't know what was happening. But in some ways, sometimes maybe it's just that we are women and we just got intuition. A female in a scenario like this is like, intuition should tell you that don't sound right. I bet you he ain't go to the mama. I don't know where my mama was, but I bet you if it had been the mama been like, oh hell no, something up with this. So she goes and does it. Now, as the female that went to do it, you as a woman got secondary intuition. I already done told y'all the story about that time I was coming home from church. And I was around the corner from there and a guy started following me. I didn't realize the guy was following me, but I knew something was off. when I saw the guy, and then all of a sudden he's in front of me again. And I'm like, how did he get in front of me? So my tuners are already on. There had to been something telling her, red alert, something's wrong here. Red alert, something's wrong here. Something is wrong with this situation. And please be alert to the fact that something could go wrong in this situation or scenario. So she's making the dough and setting all this stuff out for the cakes and setting up everything. And she's kneading it and making the cakes. And she took the pan and emptied it out before him. And he refuses to eat. Lore, just like in this film, did you notice the guy got close up on her? She's sitting in the chair. So the way that she's sitting in the chair, she can't just get up. And this is a man. So if he had put his arms in a way that she couldn't get out of, what's she gonna do? Now that chair was an awkward situation to try to do something to a person. Because, I mean, you know, a chair. And I mean, I know it's a first class airplane chair that can lounge back and all that type of stuff. I'm sitting in a reclining chair right now. So, yeah. And that's probably what he did. But he had to get her in a position that he could get to her like that. He was sitting across from her. So he had to move the table, get up, lean over, get in her ear, do all of this. And my thing is this. There should have been evidence all up in there. He had to get close. These people can't get to you unless they get close enough to you to do something. The enemy is about isolation. He had her isolated on that plane. Where's she gonna go? Where is she going to go? Now, at this point, she has not come to the realization this dude is abusive yet. Okay? So she does not know that this guy is abusive. But I'm willing to bet you, had she rejected him, he'd have hit her hard. Because he was going to try to get what he wanted. But he knew that he had her pliable enough that if he pushed just enough, she would open up to him. Literally and physically. Tamar. She goes close to him with the pan of food. Send out everyone. He makes sure that everybody is left the space. Did I not just say isolation? The enemy can't get away with what he's trying to do unless he isolates you. There are multiple ways that this situation, now she, in the movie, she has put herself in an isolated situation. More than likely, the only people that are on that plane is the stewardess and the person is flying the plane for them. And depending on how the type of people that these types of people are, if they're not regular flyers, then meaning that these are people that he employs regularly, and there are certain type of stipulations in their contract. You know how them people do, them rich folks, that they got certain stipulations. Be like, if you hear something, if you blah blah blah, don't interrupt me. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you hear. But even yet, and still, anybody with common sense, if it was a fight or something, I still believe that she would have been able to get assistance, because the plane wasn't flying itself, so somebody was on there flying the plane. There had to have been a stewardess on there. But due to the fact that this guy has the type of aggression, but see, if the person was aggressive, they'd have been two. At least it would have been two, because the stewardess could have come out, but you know, that innocent bystander mess where the person is the bystander, they not trying to get involved or get fired or all that kind of stuff. But some people got common enough sense that they'd be like, if she screamed, I think somebody would have came to her rescue in that. But because these people are employed by him, it would almost it would have been an awkward situation. It would have risked their jobs, but it actually might have gotten her out of that scenario unscathed, because it would have ruined the opportunity, which was really what needed to happen. The opportunity for him to do what he did needed to be ruined. Okay? So in this case, he sends everybody away. Okay? So everyone went out from him. And then Adnan said to Tamar, bring the food into the chamber, and I may eat it from your hands. I don't know how much redder the flag can get. You want me to feed you? You want me to come into your bedroom to feed you? Let me tell you something. Food is a covenant. You're making a covenant between you and this person when you break bread. This is a known fact. We see it all over the place in the Bible. So that, number one, covenant. 2, bedchamber. Why are you eating in the bedchamber? Yes, sick, so on and so. Something in your spirit as a female should say, something ain't right here. Even the woman in this film, she was like, I mean, she noticed way, way, way too late. There are about 15,000 signs that could have gotten her from not being in this scenario, but the deal needed to be closed. And see, that was what the guy was trying to do in this film. He trying to close the deal, but he also trying to close his own personal deal, meaning I got to get you now, because if I don't, guess what? I do not get what is actually needed in this moment. Meaning for him, he was not going to satisfy the tormenting spirit that was making him sick with love or sick with lust, because that's what it was that the guy was dealing with for this woman, for his sister. So, she brought in the chambers and brought them near to him. To his ear, he took hold of her sister. Come with me, sister. She answers, no, brother, do not force me. By this point, she now has come to the realization that he wants to do something intimately. Just like in both of the scenarios I just gave you, one from the movie, one from that episode of the television show, they come to the realization, hold up, this man trying to do something to me that I don't want done to me. And she's at a point of begging. When in the Buffy episode, when Buffy was pushed down to the ground, she is screaming at the top of her lungs, no, don't, get off me, please, stop, all these kinds of things. And this is the most at the mercy of somebody else I have ever seen that character in anything. Y'all gotta be careful. For such a thing is not done in Israel, and this will create shame that I will carry. And for you, you would be as one that wanton food in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray you, speak to the king for me. He will not withhold me from you. She actually is telling him, look, she's giving him a barter. It's like, okay, so you really do want me. If you really do want me, I mean, you really, really want me. And you know how these incestual relationships happen way, way back in the day in these types of situations. She's like, if you really want me, just go talk to the father and he will give me to you. But do it the right way. Don't assault me, is what she literally was telling him. At least if you marry me, I end up being your concubine or what have you. And you can have me as much as you want. He's like, I want you now. So he ends up sexually assaulting her. Then Aaron hated her with very great hatred. He was in hatred. This is an important factor because as we move forward in this movie, you're going to see where the hatred part comes in. He hated her greater than he loved her in this moment. Why? Because it never was love. Let me tell you something. When the enemy comes to the realization that you have seen through their wall, this is what a narcissist does in every situation. A narcissist will get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to you. And as soon as they get as close as they can, and that you, at any point in them getting closer and closer, turn around to them and say, look, the jig is up. I already know who you are. I've already discerned what you do. I already understand what you're trying to accomplish. None ya. So sorry. None ya. This ain't happening. It's not gonna work. No. As soon as you come to that realization, this is when you see hatred turn on this person. This person will turn on you like white on rice. That is probably the wrong analogy, but that's the one that came to my mind. They're going to turn on you immediately. And the love and the care and the sweetness and the kindness is immediately going to turn into hatred and aggression because you caught them in the middle of what they were doing. And you straightforwardly told them, I see you. I see you. This is what happens in narcissistic relationships. They will bait the person, bring the person in, and then after they've done that, they start to abuse them. I've been seeing as of recently commercials on television talking about if you're in an abusive relationship, please call X. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be honest with you. I believe a lot of your God ordained spouses were in abusive relationships with women. They were experiencing the exact same thing that I've been telling you about with a woman. It's something I did a write-up on a while ago. Whenever the Lord allows me the ability to release it, I talk about men being in abusive relationships. There will be good guys that will get into abusive relationships with females. And the female will do just this. Even if I go back and talk about the guy, remember the guy that would not leave me alone, that my dad told me to back up off him? He told me that he was in a couple of different relationships like that. So some of you God ordained spouses are dealing with stuff just like this. And the person turned around and did, as soon as they got them lured in, they turned